everybody. First off, I'm going to start off with a confession. I am not good at public speaking. Crowds, PowerPoints, not my thing. At least that's what I would have told you about 2 years ago when my path down this journey had started. Hopefully things have gotten better. If not, we're in for a rough 15, 20 minutes, so bear with me. So, we all limit ourselves. We're not good at public speaking, can't start our own business, all sorts of things, even things like can't find the time to go on vacation. Now, some of these barriers are set up by society, and some of them we set up by ourselves. But there is one group of people that don't have any barriers at all, and those are kids. If you ask kids what they want to be when they grow up, you'll get a complete wide variety of answers. Anything from veterinarians, doctors, to cowboys and astronauts. Doesn't matter what it is, a kid thinks it's possible. I remember being third grade and sketching out hoverboards as if that was something that I could create in fourth grade. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. What did you want to be? What did you think was possible? Now, once we get to high school, this kind of changes. We realize we have to be practical, can't be a cowboy, Wild West doesn't exist, can't be an astronaut, that's just not realistic. Thing is, some of these things are realistic. You can be an astronaut. So when we're a kid, we see the world as a pasture, open for our taking. Once we get into high school, we start seeing a network of roads. Being an astronaut, it's realistic, it's practical, but it's a long and dedicated road. And so we decide that that road isn't for us, whether we don't really want to be an astronaut or whether we just think it's not possible. And so what we do is we don't limit ourselves in terms of what's realistic, but we build fences to block off these roads that we think that we shouldn't travel down. And a lot of times, this can be a good thing. Blocking off roads like an astronaut is probably the best idea for most of us, instead focusing on a pretty narrow path to what we think our future should be. But other times, we build fences that are way too obstructive, when we don't even know what's on the other side. I started building my fences in about middle school, and I created my big plan. My plan was to go to community college, then go to university, and enter the field as a mechanical engineer. Because that's what I thought was my best path to a future. I'm a first-generation college student and low income, so I felt that the only way forward was for me to go into a job. Well, perfect plans always work out. Last time you made a plan, I'm sure it just went perfectly. But, of course, it doesn't always happen. And I stumbled haphazardly through these fences that I had constructed in middle school at my third year at community college. 2 years in, I'm already wiped out. But, third year at community college, I was pretty stressed out thinking that I was a year behind, but it turned out to be a completely transformative year that changed my life forever. It all started at Road Community College in a chemistry class. Every year, Road Community College hosts an Earth Day event through its chemistry department. Community colleges and universities all around the country are very focused on green energy, climate change, and environmental sustainability. And so, for this Earth Day project, we had to research some sort of technology that would be beneficial to the environment. A lot of people researched windmills, solar panels, the generic report stuff. After all, this is just a chemistry project for a class. It's not really going to amount to much. But I wanted to do something different. If you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be an inventor. And so I set out with my natural inventing ability, and I wanted to create something. And so we were learning about combustion in chemistry class. I've always been an automotive person at heart, want to be an automotive engineer, and so when I hear the word combustion, first thing I think of is an engine. And so when you start out learning about combustion, the first material is hydrogen. It's a very simple combustion reaction. Hydrogen combines with oxygen to create water. And so because I was thinking about engines when learning about combustion, naturally I thought, maybe you can burn hydrogen in an engine and run it. So that was my chemistry project, the hydrogen engine. I did the math, found out it was pretty practical, put it on the shelf and moved on. Until I was in an advising session with my mentor, who invited me to an invention competition. He said, Blake, I think you might be able to invent something. I thought I was something special. Turns out he was saying that to everybody. Rogue Community College was invited to the statewide Invent Oregon competition. We were a community college in an area that isn't very prosperous, and they wanted to get people on track to a better future. And so they recruited as many people as they could to this competition. And so I took my chemistry project that I thought was done, maybe I'll get to it when I retire, and I turned it into a reality. I converted my car that I drive every day, still do, to burn hydrogen. I didn't have an extra car laying around, I was all in. And we were ready to go to the competition, and a week before the competition, transmission goes out. So we trailer the car to the competition. We had a lot of logistics. They actually allowed us to bring the car into the building. When we got there, they didn't tell us there were stairs. Yeah, it was an hour. Shout out to Paul at OIT. He was the real savior. That's what this mess is. We had to use the trailer as a makeshift ramp to push the car up the stairs because, of course, the transmission was broken. Took, about twice as many people as you see in this photo. This was our first attempt before it fell off the trailer. And so everyone had to get on the bumper and lift it up. And this is really the perfect picture to kind of sum up the first year. I took my idea, I went out into the world, and I lost. We had a team of 3 engineers and a photographer. This was an invention competition, sure. We thought we had it in the bag. We had an awesome invention. No, you need a business, at least something. We didn't even know who we were going to sell our kit to beyond people. So we lost. Our photographer made a little bit of money to photograph the event. Other than that, team went home empty-handed. And we came back the next year. I transferred to PSU. Whole family moved up here. And I gathered the new team. At this point, I had met people who said, you have a great idea. Don't let it die. Now, if my plan was in place, I would just be focusing on classes, getting my degree, and my goal would be, having a job as an engineer. But I took my project off the shelf, and I dedicated my time to making what was, at this point, a failure become a reality. So, built a new team. The photographer gained a larger role as a media manager. I continued as the mechanical engineer, and we brought on Sean Krivonigoff as the business student, the business genius. And we won. We entered clean tech, and we won first place, People's Choice, and best prototype. We almost swept. A far cry from what happened before. And once you get into the entrepreneur sphere, it just sucks you in. We went to other competitions, we did other events, we continued to win prizes. We didn't win first in anything, but we got a couple second place, which was nice. And so far, we've raised over $10,000 to turn my idea that I thought was nothing into a reality. I have been able to demonstrate this prototype in front of people who are every time I demonstrate this, people want to buy it. My idea that I thought was, I'll get to it when I retire, people want to buy it. It's becoming a reality. I am part of an amazing group of entrepreneurial college students that I didn't even know existed. And my new path forward is building a business. I have become a literal poster child for student success. I am on posters, and I have been featured in the Portland State Magazine. All things that I didn't even think was possible when I made my perfect plan in middle school. So I look back, and I see a bunch of broken fences, plans that I had carefully constructed that I just wiped out through at 50 miles an hour sideways. And that is what has brought me here. No planning. No, I'm going to enter this competition, I'm going to lose, and then I'm going to win, and it's going to make a great story. Instead, I just kind of accidentally wound up here with an idea. We have formed a company. I'm the president of a startup that has made money from an idea, and all this I thought was impossible. So I want you to think back to what you thought was impossible. The fences that you've constructed that limit yourself. Because I look back, I see a middle schooler who just doesn't really know much. I mean, when you're in middle school, you think you're pretty smart, got it all figured out. You're doing algebra, you're doing math with letters. This is a screenshot from a YouTube video that Mel and I, my sister, we were going to be YouTubers. There are 2 steps to being a YouTuber. First one is recording a video. We did that, made 3 videos. Second one is uploading the video. Now, I obviously have planned out my life. I had built my fences. I knew what I was going to do. So I am a great planner in middle school, right? We didn't have an internet connection. We were going to become YouTubers that didn't have an internet connection. I guess we were just going to mail our videos in on the 400 megabyte flash drive. Yeah. No, so that didn't work out. Thumb was over the lens the whole time anyway. I mean, it was just, yeah, not destined to be a YouTuber. I didn't really become much. You know, it's kind of a bummer. But that's because when I built these fences for myself, I didn't even know what was on the other side. I didn't know that entrepreneurship was a thing. I didn't know that I could actually make money from inventing. I had written off my idea of being an inventor years ago. And yet here I am, talking to you, hopefully pretty entertainingly. And I have created an invention that I thought was useless, that I thought wouldn't become anything. And I have started a company when I thought that I was just going to be working for somebody else. But the future that I have before me is a complete surprise to my middle school self, to myself that was in that 3rd year at community college. My future is a complete surprise to me. And so I want you to look over your fences, see what's on the other side, and let your future surprise you. Thank you.